Okay, guys, we're getting started with our broadcast. Welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me. I'm going to take care of a little homework. So, as our members are coming into the room and as you are blogging on and checking in, I would love it if you would feel free to go ahead and list your name and your location. Tell us where you're coming from. Tell us who you are. If you have a business, go ahead and share your business information with us. Because I like to give everybody a shout out if we possibly can. And if we don't have time, I want at least everybody know that you can participate in the chat and start the discussion process. We try to do a lively discussion every single week, and we've been doing Coffee to You now for quite a while. It looks like nearly 20 years. It looks like we've been doing this. I'm going to have that date. I'm going to go back and see if I can't get the exact date I started doing this. I know it coincides a long time from when I began my coaching career and really started to put my toes in the water to figure out, how to become a coach and how to share ideas with people and how to help them grow, which is what I'm really all about. And today's program is going to be pretty special. Today we're going to talk about gratitude. And I have to say, as we're getting started, this was inspired by my good friend, Darren Marcourt. Darren has every year since we've had the roundtable started, he's been able to come on and share with our members an idea or concept that he discovered many years ago about the meaning of domo arigato. And what I love about what he shares consistently about that is the meaning of it is something to the effect that it could not have been possible without you. More than thank you, more than I'm grateful, it could not have been possible without you. Which means it's a whole different level of gratitude. It's a whole different level of thanks. It's a whole different level of appreciation for someone else's contributions to whatever you are achieving and whatever you've accomplished in your life. And today we're going to talk about gratitude. We're going to I've been doing some deep research, and we're going to take a deep dive into the topic. We're going to take a deep dive into the issue. And before we do that, I want to see if I could get you all to participate with me in something that I think is awful special. I'm going to pull up a assessment, not necessarily a survey, but more of an assessment that I created recently on gratitude. And what we find out, and I'm going to talk you through this assessment, hopefully many of you will take it. If you don't take it now, you'll take it at some point in the future. But I think this assessment is an amazing tool that can help all of us understand more about the power of gratitude and how gratitude can work in our lives. And so let me pull it up here. Let me share with you a link. Got that. Got the link. There, look at that. I'm cooking with gas. We're going to copy it. We're going to come back over to the yard and post it. There we go. This is the link to a gratitude assessment that I created recently. And whether you're watching this on Facebook or you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to check this link out, because I think the link in and of itself will show you a lot about what gratitude is, what gratitude can be. What are the great questions you have to ask yourself when you're thinking about what gratitude means to you? And I'm going to quickly go over the ideas that are here. So if you are able to, or if you're watching this from a computer or your tablet, or maybe even your cell phone, I'm not sure if you know how to do that on your cell phone. If you're plugged into the link, you can go ahead and kind of go along with me. In order for you to fill it out and submit it, then you have to put your email address in right up front. So I really appreciate that if you can. And then let's go through it. Question number one in our assessment is, I am well known among my family and friends for being a thankful person. So think about that. If you are a thankful person, that's a statement of being. And either you are constantly aware of the wonderful things that are going on in your life, the wonderful things that are going on in yourself. You celebrate yourself internally quite a bit. And if you're that kind of person, then you're going to rate yourself high in this. You're going to give yourself a 10 or a 9 or whatever. But if you're kind of person who very rarely thinks about how wonderful life is, how wonderful your situation is, how wonderful you are, you might not want to give yourself a great score in that area. Because a truly thankful person, a person who has gratitude for themselves, about themselves, within themselves, is a person who doesn't just wait for someone else to tell them how wonderful things are or how great things are. They tell themselves constantly. They're constantly in front of the thought that there's something going on for them to appreciate. No matter what happens on the outside, inside, they're a very appreciative person. They're a kind of person that is always thankful. So give yourself a number. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later. Number 2, I have well-practiced behaviors and scripted dialogues that I use to show my genuine appreciation for others. People who, there's different types of people. There's people who are very, very internal in terms of their gratitude, but there's also people who are very, very external in terms of their gratitude. And there's a proper balance between two. And we're going to talk about that. But what's important to know here is that when you can articulate to others what they mean to you in your life, how beneficial they have been to you in your life, when you can articulate the thanks that you have for their contributions in your business, in your life, and in your world, you are passing on some of that bright light of gratitude and feeling that you have inside of yourself, and you're able to now share that with someone else so they can embrace that. And it's very, very important that you do it quite well and you do it quite often, because people who are good and have some well thought out processes that they use to get in touch with what they're grateful for and why they're grateful for, and they share that with other people, allow other people to see the beauty in the situation, maybe the beauty in their contribution, or the beauty in the total team, or whatever that is. But being able to share what you're grateful for allows that energy and that passion to spill over, to spill outside of you and be grabbed by someone else. Now, you have to be very careful about this, because I'll talk to you about it a little later. If you're just kind of shooting from the hip and you're not authentic in how you are presenting or sharing what you're thankful for, then you're going to come off as kind of hokey. It's not going to work the way you want it to work. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that a little later on. Number 3, I'm always super careful to return any kindness that others have shown towards me. You'll find that really, really people who are excellent at showing and sharing gratitude are people who can almost immediately turn around a kindness and turn it around in a way that the person who has shared something positive with them, or given something, or supported them in some way, automatically feels like that was the best thing they could have done. They feel like it was the right thing for them to do all the time, whether it's as small as opening the door for you, or as small as, waiting for you as you are going off of a curb in the middle of the day or whatever. Your thanks and your gratefulness, your acknowledgement that they took a moment to share something positive with you, or to do something for you that you truly appreciated, is something special. Because oftentimes we're on what I call gratitude autopilot. These are, you have well scripted things in your mind that you play out, but you don't even know you do it. You just hold the door open for people because you're supposed to hold the door open for people, not because you're really thinking about them, or really thinking about how it might be useful for them or nice for them to not have to worry about the door falling shut on them or whatever that is. It's a different kind of kindness when you can take a moment and pay attention to a kindness that someone else did for you, and then show a genuine gratitude for having done so. It does something totally different to the brain and to your life. And again, we'll share a little bit more about that later. The next one is, I use my profound, intense sense of destiny to stay focused and grow my talents. If you are really grateful for who you are and what you've been offered and what you're able to contribute to the world and our society, you are focused on making sure that you are doing that thing, whether that's your level of expertise or techniques within your skill set, in your business, in your industry. No matter what it is, you feel like you were put here to do that. You feel like you have a destiny for this thing. And because of that mission itself helps you focus on getting better every day. You are getting better on a regular, consistent basis in whatever it is that you do. If you rate yourself masterfully at this, then you have something that you can share with other people. But if you rate yourself, and no matter what you rate, give yourself a rating for in this situation, it can always be improved. And if you think about it, if you're not constantly thinking about how do I get better, then you might be falling behind in the development of your skills. In fact, what I'm going to be doing later on this year, I'm going to be doing a whole workshop series on professional and personal development and what you could do to create higher levels of professional and personal development. The next one is, I have resources and techniques at the ready to recognize and then pull me back into gratitude whenever I stray. This happens a lot for people. Even if you can find the moment to be grateful, even if you can find the moment to have that nature, that spirit about you, it's usually temporary. And it's temporary because you probably don't have a strategy to make sure that you stay there, to make sure that you are always presenting and thinking about things in the best light possible. If you're always finding that glass half full strategy or programming in your mind, because quite frankly, life happens. Life happens, and we are used to protecting ourselves. We're used to alerting, alarming, and using the bells and whistles of our brain to cause fear, panic, stress, because those are the things that excite us and create that dopamine response that allow us that quick thought and the quick process. And it's very difficult to undo those natural patterns of thought and behavior as we move forward in our lives. I'm gonna take a break here and see who else is in here. I see Celeran showed up, and Scott's in here, and Warren's great. I love it. I love it. Oh, and Carmel Kalunga is here. It's so good to have you guys. I wanted to make sure that if you have a business or if you have something that you want to share with people, how to get in contact with you about whatever it is, go ahead and feel free to put that in the chat. Just do some shameless self-promotion. It is okay, because we are here to support you. We are here because we are thankful that you are here, and we want to avail ourselves of the opportunity to take advantage of whatever skills or talents that you have. We're going over, for those of you who are just arriving, we're going over one of the forms that I just put into the chat here, and I'm going to post it again, so those of you who might need to catch up with us. It's also on our Facebook post, as well as, and it's posted in I got it here posted in the window almost permanently. So let me take that down, and I'm also going to show you a program that I'm going to be working with a little later on. This is the Google Drive, which is a document that I've created, my whole and total training program about gratitude. So it's absolutely right there for you. All you got to do is go and get it. If for some reason you can't get it, do me a favor and let me know, and I will repost it so that you can have that as well. But this is free training. I'm giving it to you guys. I'm not going to have a chance to go through this. This is a full day training program that I'm putting here, but I'm going to go through some segments of it as we move through for today. Okay, so let's get back into what we're talking about. We're talking about we're going through the gratitude assessment, and we were here, I think, at number 5 or 6 or something. I can't remember where we were, but I'm gonna start right here. I have resources and techniques at the ready to recognize and pull myself back into gratitude when I stray. Yeah, that's very, very important to be able to, once you have fallen off of gratitude, to get yourself back in. And the more you practice, the more you have a gratitude practice, right, the easier you will have honed those strategies, practice those strategies to move you back into happiness, move you back into joy, move you back into a perspective that's a healthy one that you'll be able to share with others from. But if you're sharing with others from fear, stress, anxiety, or any type of depression, then what you're doing is you're manufacturing that within them as well. So you're not just having it in yourself, you're repeating it to yourself, but you're grounding it into your own processes, your own brain processes, but you're also sharing that and doing the same thing with others. And so that's why I think it's very difficult, and you should not focus on negative news all the time. You shouldn't be, yes, I'm aware that there are things out there that you need to be aware of and that you need to be focused on making sure that they don't affect you negatively. But there are most of the things that we are sensational strategies and things the news might bring to you or magazines might bring to you, are things that are just sort of eye candy. They're just there to wake you up and make you participate and then force you to engage. And it's not necessarily a positive engagement. Usually it's a negative engagement. So if it's not already within your process of growing and developing and becoming stronger at whoever and whatever you do, you probably can ignore a lot of that. And so, don't put so much of that into your world, your universe. You're watching negative news all day long, every day, because it's just really going to be bad for you. I mean, open up in the morning, check out whatever's going on so that you're not unaware of what's happening in the world and universe, but then quickly get back in your game. Quickly get back in. How does it affect me? And how can I use it to grow? How can I use it to help somebody else? How can I use it to be grateful for who I am and what I am? Sometimes negative news is good because it reminds you that, it's not you that's having to deal with these situations, and that you have a really, really good situation going on. Okay, the next part of our gratitude assessment is this one. I feel as though the universe is conspiring to promote me always. On a scale of 1 to 10, go ahead and give yourself a rating on that, because when you think about it, the universe only works in one way. It only grows. And we are participants in the universe. And so we should be growing too. When we're not growing, when we're not getting better, when we're not coming up with conscious, focused, disciplined responses to the world and to whatever affects us, then I think we're losing ground and we're not really maximizing our potential and our human potential. So it's very, very important that you try to see that the universe is there to help you, is there to be on your side. And there's so many spiritual and biblical texts that have commented on this. I found maybe 172 passages in the Bible alone about what gratitude is and how gratitude works. And I think that there's some things there that I want to share with you. So again, hang in there with me. Okay, next one. The spirit of gratitude is at the forefront of everything that I do. If you could stay in that gratitude moment all day, every day, you're going to find that the very physical nature of your brain and your body responds to that positivity. It responds to those thoughts and those feelings and those actions that you're now able to perform that you could not have performed when you were paralyzed with fear and anxiety and doubt and depression. You don't want that. You want to reverse that, and you reverse all of that with gratitude. And so if you keep gratitude in the forefront of everything that you do, then you're going to find that you are in control of you and nothing else is. No one else is. No circumstance outside of you can dictate what's going on inside of you, because you can dictate what's going on inside your brain, inside your body. You're going to have a better blood pressure. You're going to have a better response to stress. You're going to have you're just going to think better, and you're going to grow better. You're going to be more intentional about how you experience life. If you get this gratitude thing, if you really get it, you're going to do really well. The next one is I get regular feedback from my stakeholders and referral sources in recognition of my attitude of gratitude towards them. So it's one thing to think that you're a grateful person. It's one thing to think that you're a thankful person. It's one thing to think that you're kind and considerate and you have manners, right? All those things. It's great that you have all those thought processes running around in your mind. But you know what's even better? When other people tell you. especially people who have a stakeholder or a foothold in your life or your business. The person that has opportunity to do something for you that is magical. They could mentor you. They could promote you. They could talk to others about you, endorse you. They could do all manner of things for you if they believed in you. And if you show them the beauty of you, what's wonderful about you, and they're able to see it. But if you keep your light under the bushel, so to speak, if you are dimming your possibilities and you spend your time trying to downplay your skills or your talents or your abilities or even your thoughts about who you might be in your future, and it's not it's sort of one of these crazy things that I think Americans and Europeans do really, really well. It's we depress ourselves, and I mean suppress ourselves. And a lot of times when we should allow ourselves to shine and should allow ourselves to be great, we decide that humility is better. And in many cases it is better. But at some points, what it is like it's impossible for someone to expect you to be great if you never show that you have the potential to be great. And it's that expectation that you rise to where people begin to see and appreciate the greatness in you. And so you have to really be careful that you don't you keep from sharing the best inside of you, because people will then expect less of you based on their own biases, but you've made no input into their own biases, and so they don't have any way of creating a different expectation of who they think you are. So sight unseen is what you have, and if you're not going to always be the same person that they initiate contact with, I think you're going to have a problem with performing over and over and over again. This is especially true for bosses, high-level clients, people who have an expectation. They come to you because they want something, and your job is to be able to deliver in a magical way, and deliver in a way that you get the credit for being an expert. You get the credit for being special. You get the credit for delivering something masterful to them. The last segment here in our gratitude assessment is this question or this concept. The concept is that I'm always aware and seeking opportunities to be especially kind to those that show kindness to me. That ability, again, to turn the kindness around, to seek opportunities to be kind and show kindness to other people is a special skill. Now, what I've highlighted for you is 10 different skills that a grateful leader can embrace. All of us are better at certain parts of those 10 skills than other parts of those 10 skills, but we all have the potential to be great at each of those skills. Now, in the areas where we're deficient, or we might be giving ourselves low numbers, I'm going to say anything below a 6 is a low number. All right. But because, again, that's a D, right? On a 10-point scale, if you're getting below 60%, you're in failure category, right? So you want to make sure that, you're answering these questions honestly, but then you're going to put together programs and processes to get better at those areas. You're going to incorporate the areas that you really need to work on in what we call your gratitude practice. So let's get into what gratitude really is. For those of you who are able to go ahead and download the training document that I have for you, you're going to see right there on the first page is a graphic illustration of what gratitude does and how gratitude helps us literally create happiness, how it helps us create success, how it helps us create opportunities for ourselves, for our families, for our friends, and just makes magic happen for all of us. And so I posted and reposted it right here so that if you're following us, if you're coming to us from Facebook or you're coming to us from YouTube, you'll be able to see the document that's posted there. And you'll be able to participate and play along with us. So for those of you all who maybe don't know each other or have come for the first time and you haven't had a chance to introduce yourself, please do so. I see Selran is here. That's great. I see that my good friend Tina is here. So good to see you, Tina. Thank you so much for showing up and for coming in. If you have a business or if you have something that you want people to know about, go ahead and put your website in the chat box. Go ahead and put your thoughts or comments about your business in there, your phone numbers, your email addresses, whatever you want for people to be able to contact you. Feel free to do so. And for me, by the way, if those of you all who are on LinkedIn, if you haven't joined me on LinkedIn yet, I would really love it if you did so. And I'm going to go ahead and post my LinkedIn account in here as well. So, you really have no excuse. You can say, if you need to, that you met me at the round table, or I'm sorry, you met me at Coffee Tea You and Me, this is Coffee Tea You and Me. I'm on Zoom and stuff so much now. I just don't know where I am most of the time. And then we're going to get into what I think gratitude is all about. Actually, not what I think anymore. It's what I know. Because like I said earlier, I've done a tremendous amount of research, and I put it all in the training document that's right here for you guys. So, you guys don't have an excuse either. You have it. And so you can read it when you want to. I suggest that you download it to your own system and you copy it, because it will change, and I probably will take it down and retweak it for other things that I want to do. But this is a great opportunity for you. It's on my Google Drive right now, and it's available. I'll make it publicly available to anybody who wants it. Feel free to share it. Feel free to copy it. Feel free to do anything you want to do with it. So let's look at the first page. And if you have that first page available, do me a favor and say, yes, I got it in the chat. That way it'll let me know that everybody's with me. And if not, then if you have a problem with it, I want to know. Let me know if there's a problem. Again, put that in the chat as well. But the first page of this document is really going to share with you, an illustration of what gratitude is really all about. Gratitude has a way of changing your brain. It will literally lessen any symptoms that you may have when it comes to anxiety, depression. It will, and because you change your brain, you actually improve your physical health. You actually improve your thinking, and that, in effect, has another thing going on, but it increases or shifts your heart rhythm. It allows you to breathe better. It allows you to function better when it comes to your intelligence, and everything can show up at a much better rate. And it's a beautiful tool when you really know how to use gratitude. When you really know how to get it done, you find that you're a friendlier person. You're a kind of person that people like to be around. You are the kind of person who can make and honor commitments, knowing that you can make and honor commitments. Not just making commitments that you want to drop the ball on, but you're making commitments that you can honor, you can knock out of the park every single time. And so therefore you appreciate it for being able to say what you want to say, do what you say you're going to do, and then follow up and follow through with what you say you are capable of accomplishing. And people then go, oh, wow, I love that. I'm appreciative of that. They have the ability now to appreciate it because they had an expectation, and the expectation was met by a person who had every intention of meeting an expectation. Your resilience gets increased like 50 times over. And when you learn to embrace what gratitude can do for you in your life, in your business, because, one of the keys, I have to say this to a lot of business leaders and sales professionals specifically, is they got to deal with a lot of rejection. I mean, a lot of people tell you no. A lot of people say, no, I'm not ready. No, I can't do it. No, I don't want to. No. And you know what? It's kind of hard to reject people that you fall in love with. So let's think about that. If you're the kind of person who people just automatically have empathy and compassion for, they understand, and they then feel that feeling that they have for you is reciprocated to them. And so therefore there's a high level of understanding and connection between you. And with that connection, you can drive almost anything. You can influence in a magical way. So closing deals becomes much easier when people understand that you're really about trying to serve. You're really about trying to satisfy a need that they have. You're really about trying to make sure that there's something, or even if it's, I don't, it's something I can't afford, something I don't know how to pay for. You mean you're willing to help them figure that out because you have you're just grateful for the time they're spending with you to share your ideas. It's very, very important. So understanding all that, knowing that gratitude affects you physically, it affects you mentally, it affects you socially in ways that nothing else can. I think the case is made for what gratitude can and cannot be in our lives. And it's very important that we embrace gratitude and understand how to use it. Now, I mentioned this earlier, and I just kind of give you a drip into what I'm talking about. I'm going to highly encourage you to start and figure out how to develop a gratitude practice in your life. Whether it's a part of how you pray, or part of how you worship, a part of how you do your mindfulness practice, whether it means that means keeping a gratitude journal, or possibly writing letters to people that you really are grateful for. These are processes and practices that you could put into your life that will remind you to stay and be in gratitude. But it's really easy once you have developed a rhythm and a discipline to this thing. If you've made gratitude a part of your daily, weekly, monthly, annual practice, then you are looking at not only what it means to you, but how you can get better at it. And then the effects. What effects are you looking for? What do you think that you will be able to get better at, or benefits that you'll be able to achieve if you've fully embraced gratitude? Will you have a better physical health? Will you be better with your social connections, which is people you love and people that you come in contact with, right? Will you be more resilient? Will you, feel it? Will you just decrease your stress and anxiety and move yourself into a better rhythm in life? Will you be more successful, more happy, more thoughtful, more appreciative? I think the answer is absolutely yes. It's a resounding yes. But you got to learn some things. You've got to practice. You got to structure this in a way that makes sense for you. Because I could tell you, and I'm going to tell you a lot about gratitude today. In fact, if you look on page 2 of the document, you're going to see there's some learning objectives in this whole training module. Some learning objectives might be understanding the benefits of gratitude. We've already talked about that. The core principles that make gratitude work, right? Understanding how gratitude impacts your character development and how your personality is changed when you embrace gratitude, right? Learning how people use and express gratitude might give you some benchmarks and some examples to use to play from. Learning how to question the things that's going on with you so that you can enhance your gratitude practice. Learning what questions you should be asking yourself. Looking at what other people have thought about it, what great writers from Aristotle on to today have thought about gratitude. I got some examples in there I want to pull from you, right? I love these, the 3 A's of gratitude, right? These are the 3 elements, so to speak, that make gratitude work. And then the 5 steps to kindness. These are the steps that you could take, starting with mindfulness all the way up to kindness. 5 different steps, and they are linear and they are stacked upon each other, which means you can't accomplish one without the other. You have to start. Your gratitude practice needs to start with mindfulness. That's an ability to be aware of the good things that are going on in your life. Being aware of what's really, really happening around you, what's really, really happening with people that love you. The more you're aware of that, the more mindful you are of that, then you can move into gratitude. You can move into gratefulness. You can move into the things that you need to move into. We're going to talk about the 5 steps. Then we're going to talk about what the great books have said, what the Bible has said, what the Quran has said, what the Torah has said about gratitude, and how you use these things in your life. And some of the rules, the basic rules, we find that there are almost 16 different rules that gratitude exists in. And finally, we're going to help you figure out and start talking about how you can put some of these practices in your life. And, after you, and I encourage you, like I said earlier, to take this document, download it, put it in your life, make it a part of your everyday reading and practice until you've read it thoroughly. I'm going to share with you some of the things that the great ones have thought about, and some videos and some other documents that are out there that you can play with. But understand, this should be an ongoing conversation in your life, in your business, in your practice. You should be always thinking about gratitude and how do you make it a part of your life? How do you make it a part of everything that you do? There's a story right here that we're going to start with. This is the story of Jimmy's. Jimmy, or Jimmy's, I should say, is a pizza place that I was working with here in Fairfax, and the owner, James Jr., which is Jimmy, right? Literally was one of these people that was just all go, very passionate about what he did, very passionate about his family, very passionate about, everything he did in his business. He had inherited this business from his father, and the business itself was thriving staple right here in this downtown Fairfax, right in the heart of Fairfax. Everybody knows Jimmy's. Everybody knows Jimmy's Pizza. It's one of the greatest institutions, so to speak. A small business has been around so long. It's been such involved in so many different things that it's become an institution. If you walk into the wall at Jimmy's, if you look at the wall on Jimmy's and you walk into the restaurant, you will see, just literally hundreds of plaques from Little League team sponsorships, on throughout the years, from the times that, Jimmy's father was in charge of the store to the time that Jimmy was in charge of the store. And it's different teams and same teams and teams of bringing people. You can see the kids growing up, right, as they continue to play soccer and baseball and football and, different things, girls and athletics and dance troops and all kinds of stuff as sponsors. It's been there for years. So they're really a part of this community, and tons of community service awards and all that kind of stuff. It's all there. And this is a business that was hard hit during COVID. Hard hit because even though they were a restaurant and they had delivery, they really weren't focusing on the delivery as much as they were focusing on just giving just a beautiful presentation of any type of pizza that you can imagine. They had it and it was available and it was great, from New York style, Sicilian to Chicago style. I mean, it was just everything that you can imagine in pizza. They had it, they did it, and they were pizza gurus. And Jimmy dedicated his whole life to this business, dedicated everything he had to making sure that it was good for him, for his family, for everybody. And what we found during COVID-19 is, the business almost had to come to the brink of chaos and shut down and close. Yes, he applied for all the normal loans and all the special grants, and he got money and all that kind of stuff, but it was nowhere near enough to keep his employees happy, to keep his family going, to keep his business going. I mean, his kids were coming home from school. They were trying to do work in the same space. Kids coming home from college. Kids. I mean, it was crazy. And, Jimmy was in a world of hurt, and he was really considering, should I shut down this institution that's right here? I can't figure out a way to make it profitable. I can't figure out a way to make it work. I can't figure out a way. I can't do it. And thank God somebody introduced me to Jim, and he decided, and it took a couple of different conversations, a couple of different meetings, but he decided, he'd take me on and let's see if we could help him somehow in his business, help him, to turn things around so that he didn't have to close his doors, so he didn't have to, worry about paying back the loans and all that kind of stuff to even if he closed, how would he do that? Because this is all he's ever done was run this pizza shop, right? His wife, him and Nancy, that's all they've ever done. So we sat and we talked and we analyzed, we assessed, and he took one of our assessments and he started to realize that there are some ideas that he had in the background that he never really made happen. And maybe it's time to look at those ideas. He realized that he was so good at this. He and his family members and everybody was so good at this pizza thing that maybe he could teach others. And maybe others would embrace this Jimmy's magic and see what they can do. And so he had thought about using a franchise later on, but he didn't want to leverage other people's money, and he didn't want to figure out, he just wanted to go into the venture world. He didn't want to, give up any ownership. He didn't want to do anything that would damage any of the value that that restaurant might have for future generations of his family. So he shut down that, even though he went all the way through all the planning process, he had to shut it down. He felt like he wasn't going to be able to do it organically, so he didn't want to do it at all, because that's what they've always done. He's always been able to pull himself up by bootstraps and not depend on anybody else, or not lean on anybody else in any way, shape, or form, but just totally get it all done with him and his family. But he changed. He had to. Situation outside of him made him have to relook at what he really had. What he really had was an opportunity that we now know that others could really appreciate. What he really had was greatness that he had, for many years, come up with several different recipes and several different strategies for supply and shipping and all the things he needed to do to pull this business off and make it work and make it really, really good. He had something that was unique and special, and others would want to participate in it if they had access to it. So that's all we had to do. What we ended up doing with Jimmy is introducing him to some companies who had been funded through some small business initiatives to get started. And because of relationships that I currently had, he's able to now franchise this idea. This has been 2 months in the making, and he's already got 10 franchise agreements in place, with scheduled between now and the end of the year to close another 10 franchise agreements for people who've already spent the money, already have the money to start brand new Jimmy's franchises outside of cities all over the country. Just because he was open to sharing what his greatness was. He was open to identifying and trying to identify people who would want to be supported in this way. They wouldn't mind competing against Domino's and Pizza Hut, because they knew they had something unique and special that they could not get and share anybody anywhere else. That's what we're able to do with Jimmy in a short period of time. But it was all about him understanding where his greatness was, and then appreciating what he really could bring to the table at the season in his life that he's in, and during the situation we have. Now, he wasn't going to sell a truck ton of pizza anymore, but now he was able to take his whole entire staff, his whole entire team, put them all in teaching and learning mode. Create tons of videos and things like that, private access stuff that people can go by and see. And now he's able to franchise this thing and create a whole different national brand from this little local home-based opportunity. This is what happens, when you can get your mind in the right place, when you can get your heart to align correctly with gratitude in the right way. What happens is the universe turns right around and puts you in a better situation, a situation where you don't have anxiety and depression, a situation where you have better social connections, better empathy, more compassion. You're able to be resilient. You're able to achieve as a leader more emotional autonomy, conscious control of your destiny, unspeakable joy, and the returns on the kindnesses that others are able to show with you are amazing. These are some of the things that gratitude can do for you. But I got to warn you, there's a dark side to gratitude. And and what is that dark side? There are those of us who would much rather help other people than to be helped ourselves. And that could be a dangerous, slippery slope, because there are some people out there who have bad intentions and will consider you a doormat, something that can be walked on, stepped on, abused and abused over and over and over again, and you'll keep coming back for more. And you have to learn there's a delicate balance. When you talk about gratitude, there's 2 areas that I want you to really think about. On one hand is who you are, and on the other hand, it's what you've disciplined yourself to do in 2 key areas. One area is authentic appreciation, and the other area is or return on kindness. So if you think about it, gratitude is who you are, but it's also how you express who you are when it comes to authentically appreciating the world, the universe, other people, and returning the kindnesses that other people are going to show you. Now, it's very difficult to return a kindness if you're not aware of what you have to offer. That's not diminishing you. Now, I say this because I did a workshop not too long ago about understanding the gifts and talents that you have. And when you understand the gifts and talents that you have, you know that you can offer those gifts and talents in an abundant sort of way. You don't have to worry about scarcity of time, of effort, of money, or whatever that is, because it's so natural to you. All the benefits of expedition and all the benefits of expertise are already something that you own. And so now it's yours to share, right? And you're at the point where you can share it without diminishing yourself. You can share it without taking away from your family. You can share it without moving off of your path, your destiny, because you have an excess ability. You have your ability can take you further faster than you need to go. So you have an excess. You can share that excess with someone else and not feel put upon and not feel like you're diminishing yourself, or not actually be diminishing yourself in any way, shape, or form. And so where you are great, that's why greatness is important. Where you are great, where you have skill, where you have talent, where you have ability, your job is to maximize that, is to make sure you're always doing better, creating better opportunities for yourself and better opportunities for others by leveraging your talents, your time, your treasure. On my conference and leverage, we talk a lot about that. And it's very, very important that you understand, if you don't know what you have to give, then you can't give without feeling like you're at a deficit. You don't want to put yourself at a deficit because you're not giving out of your abundance, you're giving out of your scarcity. And that will turn around on you and create depression and anxiety and bad health and all the things that happen when we overextend our abilities. We make commitments that we don't know that we can achieve, or aren't committed to achieving with the right resources and different things. We can go on and on and on about that. But anybody have any thoughts or ideas about that dark side of gratitude? You know, if you've ever been in a situation where you've been so appreciative of someone else and so thankful for someone else in your life that you literally smothered them, that you literally you want to serve them, want to help them, want to do for them so much so that you enable them. You make sure that they're enabled. They cannot do what they need to do for themselves without you. Instead of teaching a man to fish, you're so busy fishing because you love fishing that you just keep sharing your fish with the same people over and over and over again. Think about that. That's the dark side of gratitude. That's when you are creating a dependency on you, when you really should be creating an ability in someone else. You should be using your example, your talent, your gifts that people need to share that talent and gifts with them. Yes, but to make sure that that sharing has an end date. It's a temporary thing. It's not, I'm not going to be doing this forever. So think about that, because again, that dark side of gratitude can drown you in depression and drown you in anxiety, as well as the people that you're giving it to. And pretty soon they start taking advantage of you. They start thinking that you're always going to be there and you're never going to, help have them be responsible for whatever this thing is that you've taken over. So think about that. And don't be the kind of person that smothers people. Don't be the kind of person that doesn't allow people to think for themselves and be free because you just know so much better. Even in your family, right? It's really important that you have people grow and allow people to grow and be a conduit by which they will grow instead of the opposite. And you call yourself being grateful, right? It's very, very important. If you're not grateful, thank you, Tina, for sharing this. If you're not really grateful for who you are and what you really bring to the table for yourself, then it's very hard for you to express gratitude for others in a healthy way. You really got to do that work on yourself first. This is what, I don't know how many of you all watch Ayanna Vanzant and different, and I love the Oprah channel, and it's all about figuring out Super Soul Sunday, right? It's all about figuring out what it takes to get better at who you are and how will you do yourself better. It's critically important that you have gratitude for yourself, because if you have gratitude for other people but you don't have gratitude for yourself, then your integrity is out of balance. You've got to start with self, and then extend outward. If you don't start with self and you're just outward, now you're trying to get it backwards. The system doesn't work that way. The universe grows outward, not inward, right? So you have to make sure that you are participating in that growth by making sure that you're good inward first. So in the document, there's a whole bunch of ideas about showing appreciation, how you do it. We talk about how you reciprocate kindness and different thoughts about there. I think is really good stuff. But I want to share with you something very, very important on page, I think this is page 8. In this section, we talk about the difference between being grateful, thinking good, positive thoughts, and actually executing those thoughts. And there's some things that I think you've got to ask yourself. The document that I put in front of you earlier, in terms of the assessment that I put in front of you earlier, kind of helps you flesh out some of these ideas. But I want you to think what it must be like if you had a living, breathing practice of authenticity in your life as a quality leader. What kinds of questions do you need to ask yourself? Like, if you had to live on gratitude alone, could you do it? What would that look like? What has to happen before gratitude is sort of hardwired in everything you do and everything you think? What has to happen for that to happen? How can you make your very soul respond in a way that is always useful, in a way that's always positive, in a way that is always giving everything that person needs to appreciate you? I think if you can wrestle with these types of questions, you can think about these types of questions and wrestle with these types of questions, you are well on your way to designing a life that is filled with all the good things that life can bring to you. And there won't be anything that you will feel like there is a deficit in. I like these gratefulness questions, right? How does it feel when someone genuinely grateful to you is genuinely grateful to you for extending even a small courtesy? How does that feel for you? What's that like when that happens? As a part of your gratitude practice, maybe you want to write that down. Maybe you want to express those feelings and see what you can do to have others feel the same way about you. What could you do regularly to strengthen your ability to share your contributions with others? What do you need to do? What do you need to do to strengthen it? What is your contribution? What can you do with exceptional quality right now that if you strengthen that, you could be world class in it. And then if you share it with other people, who would want to embrace that? I just found this program not too long ago online called Wizant, Wizant. And Wizant allows people to share their talents with other people and get paid for it. And it just so happened a couple years back, my daughter was struggling through AP economics. And so I have an economics degree, but I really don't stay current on what's going on with the world of economics. But I figured basic economics I can handle. Although it's AP economics, it's still basic economics. It's economics 101, right? So I can handle this, right? So I thought, okay, let me just polish up and learn a couple things real quick. And then I'll work in, I teach my daughter, and she sailed through economics her senior year swimmingly. She did really, really well. And I realized that I know enough about economics to probably teach other kids about economics. And so I became a coach or a teacher, trainer, so to speak, of economics on Wizant. And now every once in a while, I get a call from somebody who needs some help with some concepts or some studies, whatever. They pay me up to $40 to $60 an hour just to help them through economics. I said, well, wait a minute. If I can do some economics, I can do something I'm really skilled at, which is maybe racquetball coaching. That's my certificate is right behind me, right over there, right? I can do that. So then I started teaching people how to play racquetball, and I got all these contacts and concepts from Wizant. What are you good at? What gift do you bring to the table? What can you share with other people in a way that's going to show your competence? I bet you can find somebody who's willing to pay you for it through a program like Wizant or Fiverr or something else. I happen to know Warren is a master golfer. If he had to break down a golf swing for somebody and help them figure out, just how to prevent injury, right? How to swing that club correctly so that not only just are they doing well on the course, but they can actually play longer. You could do that, couldn't you, Warren? Go on Wizant, become a golf instructor. You'd be surprised who would hire you all over the country. So anyway, I'll post that in the chat if you guys remind me to do that a little later on. But literally, when you think about what you're grateful for, you should be grateful for the gifts that you have. I'm going to run through a couple things real quickly with the literature, and then we're gonna blow through this pretty fast because this is a lot of information I'm throwing at you guys. People, in fact, can make us happy, but the trick is we have to allow them to. You have to give people what they need in order to give you back what you need. But if you don't know what you need, you can't do it, right? And if you don't know how to share it with them, you also can't do it. Gratitude is the platform to make that happen. It is the gratitude to let people know that really works for me. I really enjoy that. I can see how wonderful and masterful you are at this thing. And then the person goes, ha ha, they like that. He likes that. She likes that. I'm gonna do more of that because everybody wants to be meaningful. Everybody wants to be significant. Everybody wants to be relevant when it's all said and done. But they don't know how to unless you tell them. I really appreciate that. I really love that you did that. I think that your ability to do that is amazing, and it makes so much sense. I can't wait to introduce you to a friend of mine. That's how it happens. But unless people know what you really bring to the table, it's hard for them to even get excited about it. Because they can't see it. You need to make sure that you're good at sharing the gratitude for not just what you bring, but what they bring. And that turns into more gratitude, which turns into more happiness. This 5-step process that I talked to you about earlier, that's on page 11, top of page 11, just a wonderful illustration. And I want you to think about this. This illustration, the picture behind it, the 5 principles, are really about kindness. Here's this guy who got these little birds convinced that it's safe for them to take food right out of his fingers. Now, I don't know what he had to do to create that environment. I don't know that someone else hadn't already trained these birds, or that somebody else had, already done this so many times that the birds often, they come here knowing that they're going to get fed. But I want you to think about what had to happen in order to create this reality where a human being could be so kind that it is well known and received by even the animals with the smallest brain. Right? Think about this. Somebody had to be mindful in the situation. Somebody had to be aware that food was a thing. The right kind of food, as a matter of fact, because the wrong kind of food wouldn't work, right? So had to do the right kind of food, had to be the right time of day, had to be the right situation, the right opportunity, right? So they had to be aware of all that. Somebody had to be aware of all that. And then there had to be a sense that what they were contributing, what they were doing was good, that they felt good about it. There was gratefulness in the grace of it all. In order for them to do it, maybe even repeat it, maybe even prepare to get it done. Somebody had to go buy, purchase, equip themselves, get that food, and be grateful for the opportunity to feed those birds. Positivity comes in, right? You had to be positive about it, right? Because it felt good. It felt right. Once you're grateful for something, you're starting to feel positive about it. You're starting to feel good about it. The next thing, you start to recognize it for what it really is. It is a core truthfulness. It is a core quality of life. It's a core opportunity. It doesn't get any more honest and straightforward than this moment, this time, this opportunity can never be taken away, can never be changed for anything other than it, because it is right here, right now, the truth, where kindness can live. If you think about these 5 steps to kindness, understanding that you must start first with mindfulness. Mindfulness moves into gratefulness. Gratefulness moves into positivity. Positivity moves into truthfulness, and truthfulness moves into kindness. The quote that this comes from is above by Roy Bennett. Roy says, be mindful, be grateful, be positive, be true, and be kind. These are statements of being that you can create, but you gotta do it the right way. Kindness, without all the other attending steps, is just rote activity that doesn't mean a whole lot. It doesn't have what it needs to take off and to create more kindness. This kind of kindness is just rote memorization. It's just being courteous, so to speak. It's actually wisant, I think. I put that in there in the chat for Warren. And when you understand those 5 steps, then you can do them really, really well. The other thing I want to share with you all from my study in gratitude is lower on page 14. Well, let's start with this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's on page 13, at the bottom of page 13. Emerson says, cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, and you give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. And it began to dawn on me in that statement that Emerson shared with us that there are 3 elements of gratitude. And if you miss these 3 elements of gratitude, you miss the whole concept of gratitude, and it doesn't work. It's like these three things that add up to gratitude: acceptance, acknowledgement, and appreciation add up to gratitude. If you take one of these things out, if you just have acceptance and appreciation without acknowledgement, you don't really have gratitude. If you have acknowledgement and appreciation without acceptance, you don't really have gratitude. But these three keys, these three elements of gratitude are almost like the turning points or the stop signs or the points where you have to. If you're on a road towards gratitude, right? That's your thing. You can't do it without stopping by acceptance quite often, acknowledgement quite often, and appreciation quite often. Call these your filling stations along the way. You know, you're gonna run low on your gratitude meter, right? Then you're gonna have to stop and fill it up. You're gonna have to give me some high test acceptance. You know, give me a little bit of acknowledgement. Throw a little bit of appreciation on top of that. You have a full tank. You have what you need to continue your journey. But if you don't put all three ingredients in when you need to, when you should, then you're going to be missing the benefits of gratitude. You're going to have some, but they're not going to be full. You're going to have some benefits, but you're not going to have all the benefits. If you want all the benefits, if you want all the mental benefits, all the physical benefits, all the social benefits, you got to put all these three things in the tank all the time. Whenever you find yourself getting a little low, go ahead and top it off with some acceptance, some acknowledgement, and some appreciation. And you'll find that you're right back in the proper opportunities for gratitude. Instead of doing things to say to yourself, well, I can't do this, you'll start saying, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can figure it out. Yeah, I know somebody who can help me. There's hope where there's gratitude. There's no gratitude, there's no hope. You really can't. All you have left is sadness, disappointment, and dismay. You got to get to fulfillment, approval, and appropriate action. This is what gratitude is able to do for you. There's some more stuff about abundant thinking and some other things, but I'm not going to cover that. I want to share with you, I think, the 16 rules of gratitude. Well, before we get there, let's look at the research. Page 20 has a couple of key research ideas that I want you to think of. You can click through on these things when you get a chance. This one YouTube presentation from Jane Ransom is amazing. And she talks about how you can quickly get yourself into the gratitude frame of mind by emoting, by using extension, and by using exercises to do it, right? So it's a great program. I suggest you highly look at that. Happify, I discovered this app that you can start to put on your phone, your cell phone, whatever you want, that will help you develop your gratitude practice, help you stay in front of gratitude. There's a free side and there's a cost side, but the free side is really, really good. Sometimes, they when they give you the free stuff, you think, well, it's kind of cheesy. It's not really all fully functioning. Well, no, it's not fully functioning, but it's really, really good. And so, definitely take a look at the Happify app if you can and look at what it means. Specifically this article, the science behind gratitude, really, really helpful. The best article I could find that really breaks down the neuroscience of gratitude, why gratitude works, how gratitude works, how does it affect your brain, how does it change you, how does it help you create better relationships, how does it help you deal with stress, how does it help you really, really turn depression and anxiety around. This is a great article. It's from Madalena Roy Chowdhury, and she's actually a friend of mine on LinkedIn. So it's crazy that I was able to pull that from her. I didn't even know she was from one of my friends, but I was able to link it back to her later on, and we're already chatting up again, talking about stuff. I might be able to get her to be a guest speaker on here one day. She's an amazing researcher. I can tell you that. I don't know how she does in presentation, but she's great with research and blogging, right? Here are the 16 rules of gratitude real quick. And I think if you understand these rules, if you play by these rules, you can figure out all kinds of skills and all kinds of things you can do to learn to play the game at a high level. the gratitude game. Here are the rules. Understand that gratefulness is an expression of your character. You cannot fake this. You have to build it. You have to be it, but you cannot fake it. Yes, you can act as if you have gratitude and you will become grateful, but you just can't dial it in. You just can't phone it in. You've got to work on it. You've got to express it fully, right? Number 2, gratitude practice requires discipline and skill. You can't just say, I'm going to have gratitude practice and not have something that you're actually doing, something that you're actually measuring the quantification and the qualification of. That allows you to then know that I was here when I started and now I'm here. That's one of the reasons why I gave you that assessment, so you can start to think through, what pieces of this gratitude thing that do you really want to work on? What will be most effective for you? What will be most beneficial to you in your life right now? Eventually, you're going to knock them all out. But what if you had to choose the top 3, would they be? What areas? Number 3, you need to learn and commit to all 3 principles of gratitude: being thankful, being authentically appreciative, and reciprocating kindness. You got to commit to all these ideas. These are principal, foundational ideas. If you do not commit to these ideas, then you won't get the gratitude thing. You won't get it. It won't work for you, right? Learn to think and act in abundance. Grateful people can always see the good. Grateful people can always see the positivity in every situation. Even a negative situation is helping you become stronger at facing a negative situation. You just have to learn how to use it for good, right? That takes practice. It takes discipline, right? Number 5, claim the positive high ground. Learn how to find that high ground in every situation. This is not just about perspective, right? This is about strategy to help you grow. And if you claim the high ground, then you're always going to be in a situation where you can be better. You can be on top of things. You can be in control because you're on that high ground and you stay there as much as possible. If you fall down, you get back up as fast as you can, right? Number 6, recognize and appreciate everyone. This is something that I have to work on because I'm not as good at that as I want to be. I want to be the kind of person that in my presence, people really, really feel like they're the only person in the room, even if I'm in a room of 500, 1,000, 1,000,000 people, right? I want to have that kind of presence in my character that I could really emote that well that people feel me in the back of the room, right? That's what I want. I'm working towards it. I'm working on it. But it's very, very possible. I know it's very, very possible. I know I have the ability to do it. So it's just about working on it, right? Number 7, appreciate the 5 steps to kindness. We went through the 5 steps. You need to embrace those. You need to go ahead and really, really feel every single one of those steps and come up with strategies on how you can make sure that you're doing it right. Right? Number 8, attend to your gratitude deposits, because attention is a gratitude deposit. The more attention you pay to people, the more attention you give to initiatives and ideas and thoughts that you have, the more mindful you are of people and things that are in your life. The more you can look at them for what they really are, the more you can see the truth in them, the beauty in them, the benefit of them, the more you can embrace gratitude. Right? I love this one. Number 9, create gratitude affirmation. Any place where you think that you are really not doing well in the gratitude universe, right? Find a way to use the 3 A's we talked about and create some affirmations around those things. I will acknowledge this. I will appreciate this. I will affirm this. I will do better at whatever specific thing you want to try to do, right? Because you realize if you don't get those 3 A's in there, then you're probably going to fall off that gratitude road. You're not going to be able to make it. You're not going to have the gas you need to keep pushing through. You need it all, right? Number 11, bring gratitude with you everywhere, always. Always show up with a full tank of gratitude. Don't go parking your car and leaving that tank empty, thinking you can get a good night's rest. You're not. You need to charge that gratitude gift every day, all day, during the day, throughout the day, to the best of your ability. If you do this, then you're going to show up in authentic appreciation for life everywhere you show up. And that's going to bleed into other people's lives. And they're going to see positivity in their lives. And they're going to feel better about who they are. And you're going to reflect that right back at them. That energy that you have, you're going to generate, and they're going to be able to leverage it to create more and new things because of you. Number 12 is key to what I just said, right? Gratitude leverages the universe on behalf of us all. If you are grateful, and I can see that you're grateful, and I can see that you're working from a position of abundance, you're thinking about things in a highly positive, wonderful way, I can leverage that. I can feel that, when we're chatting, when we're talking. And guess what? I can feel the same way. And then I can do something with that. And I can pass it on to someone else. And we can literally all together get everything there is the universe has to offer us and grow. Number 13, reflective questions to maintain and reignite gratitude. You have to have your own questions. Really think about what is it that you have to ask yourself to get yourself back on the horse? What do you have to ask yourself to create more opportunities for yourself? Number 14, gratitude is a survival command and a requirement of greatness. Man, I don't know how I messed that up, but I'll fix it. It is. You are not going to be able to get around this fact. You are not going to be able to survive without being grateful. You will die. So all it is to it. It's survival. It's survival 101. You got to do it. In order to be amazing, you got to be great at gratitude. You can't just survive. You got to be great. So the better you get at gratitude, the greater you'll become. Number 15, facilitate and manage your talent trajectory well. Everybody has an innate gift that if you were to maximize that gift, whatever that gift is, whatever that set of tactics or skills are, if you were to maximize those gifts, it's going to take you into a place that's better than the place you are right now. You just got to focus, learn, grow, experience, share that experience with other people so they know that you have the gift, and keep going. Number 16, gratitude is your interest payment to the universe for all of the benefits that you've borrowed. I love this one. If you understand this one, good on you. It's really, really complicated. If you think of gratitude as something that you could leverage, like money, right? Then you owe a debt to the universe for what it gives to you. And you pay that debt back by sharing the gratitude. And the more you get, the more you share. The more you get, the more you share. The more you share, the more you get. Because the law of reciprocity kicks in. Think about it as increasing your credit score and in getting higher leverage, higher and higher lines of credit as you move forward. It's like, wow, I'm good. I got all this credit available. All this gratitude credit is available to me because I keep paying on this interest. And I keep putting more deposits back into the gratitude bank. All right. I hope that was really helpful to you guys. I know it was fun. I really had a lot of interest in it. I really want to answer any questions that anybody has out there. If you have a thought, an idea that you want to share or question about anything we've talked about, anything that's in our training manual or any other question that you'd like to have an answer to, go ahead and throw it in the chat and I'll see what I can do to respond. I'm going to take a moment to let you know that if you haven't already liked us on YouTube, I really would appreciate that. If you are on Facebook and you haven't joined our group or Facebook group, please do so. Again, that's going to be helpful to help me keep this program going. I'm going to keep this program going as long as I have to. And, even after COVID-19, I think I'm always going to do a virtual presentation, even if I'm doing it inside of a coffee shop or something. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that anymore, but we'll see. But I love this opportunity, and I love sharing with you guys. And it makes me create new training almost every single week. I'm doing it deeper and more better. In fact, next week, I'm going to start a series that's going to push us into the close of the year. And for those of you who know that I'm a co-founder of the Roundtable, and the Roundtable, we focus on three principles that make it all work. And those three principles are communication, encouragement, and collaboration. And so we're going to be talking about the next couple of weeks. We're going to talk about communication, encouragement, and collaboration. We're going to talk about how they work together to help you in your business, help you in your life, and help you extend and grow, right? And so if come back, and I'm gonna post everything about that and start getting that in the chat and start getting ready for that. But I'm going to create a whole nother training module around those things as well. I have some stuff I've already created. I'm going to enhance and move that through. I want you to understand that everything I do is dependent on you. And so if you tell me this is working for you, you like something, or you're interested in something else, then I'm going to go ahead and create those topics. I'm going to go ahead and create those programs to help you develop whatever you need to develop in your life, because I'm all about personal and professional development, helping the people that I interact with be better. My unique gift is I'm a pretty good listener, and I'm a great trainer. So I create training modules and documents and all types of things. So if there's something that you want to know about, something that you want to learn about, maybe we kickstart the year with something that you thought about. And let me know what's going on. Let me know how I can help your growth and development. You'd be surprised what I already have sort of in the queue at that kind of stuff. But I love to be there for you guys. So again, if you have any question, feel free to ask it, throw it out, throw it at me, hit me up on a text message or whatever. Use the hashtag 9-step guru. That's that. You'll see it scrolling through the screen here. I love that hashtag. I created that many years ago. So now I use it for everything. I use it everywhere. And that's how people find me on all the different social media programs that I'm at. So if you're looking for me, you can find me at 9-step guru pretty much in any content that I've created. One, if you could do one about DEI. Are you talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion? I think that's what you're talking about. Yes, I can, Maria. If that's what you're talking about, give me a thumbs up or send me something that'll let me know that's exactly what you're talking about. Because I usually when people say DEI, they talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that's what we're talking about. So that's what you mean. I would love to do one or even a series on diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you feel like that will be working for you, then we'll make it happen. It won't be before the close of the year, but it might be at the opening of the year. Would that be okay? Cool. Okay. Is there any questions that anybody has at all? Carmel Kalunga says that David Steinrass has a similar philosophy about gratitude or about something specific. I'd love to know specifically what you're talking about. Obviously, he's an author or a producer or whatever that is. But I'd love to know if there's something that you were specifically referring to in this one, Carmel, what that was. And nobody put down what they do. Like nobody wants to share what they are, what they do. I know we got Warren from Australia. He put that in there. But no one ever shared, you guys don't want to do business with each other, huh? There's nothing that you can do for each other to help each other out? Really? Come on, guys. Let's see if we got some talent out there. Is anybody gifted in any specific situation that they're willing to help share or communicate with someone else about? Here's a good opportunity for you to not just show gratitude for the gifts that you have and toot your own horn, but to allow other people to recognize the greatness in you. So what do you guys do out there? Feel free to step up. Scott, do you think it's okay to provide a recap sheet at the end of an interview? Yes, but here is how you should do that. For example, you're in a conversation, you're in a discussion, and a person says to you, "I really love that, Scott. I want to follow up with you on that. Would it be okay for us to get together again and talk about it?" These are things you want to that you definitely want to set an opportunity to follow up on and do. Or if in the interview it comes out that you happen to have a special gift that they didn't even know you had, but they want to know more about that, then that's a good thing to follow up on and to create. What you're looking for is the mutuality of the concept. You're looking for the mutuality of the idea, whether it's a personal interview or presentation from a client, whatever you want to do, it needs to have a win-win in it, because you're going to be asking this person for some of their time at a future date to either review what you said you're going to send them, or talk about what you said you're going to talk about, or do whatever. You're asking them for their time. That means they're going to pay attention to you. That means they're going to show you some grace, right? You got to be really super thankful for that, but make sure it's something they want to do. Because if it's something they want to do, something they will appreciate, then it should come back to you as a gift. It should come back to you as a response to your kindness, right? Remember, one of the things we talked about gratitude, right, is a response to kindness. How do you return kindness? How is kindness returned? I didn't talk about this. I should have talked about it. How do you receive the kindness of others in a way that makes them give you more, and it makes them do more, and it helps them do more for you or with you? Because it's not just about saying thank you. It's about meaning it. It's about letting them know what it means to you for them to have extended that kindness to you, and what you can do with it, and how you can leverage it, and how you feel supported, or how you feel you can transition you. That's very, very important. And yes, anything you can communicate, I share with this in my workshop on following up and following through, right? Anything you can communicate that creates an expectation that you can follow up on is relationship building, right? So you want to do that. You want to create the relationship. You want to create the connection. You want to create the expectation, and then you want to follow up and follow through. Because if you don't, then you've damaged the relationship. And I remember I promised to get that email to you. I remember I promised that I would send you that report. Or I remember I promised that I would do that for you. And they're expecting it because you checked to make sure they're expecting it through your list that you're talking about, right? But then you dropped the ball. Now you look like you can't step up the way you said you want to step up. You look like your person that has, like you said, like you say a lot about the Southerners from Texas, right? They have big hat, no cattle. Like they make big promises, but you don't follow through. Maria, my contact information is scrolling through the screen right now, so you should be able to see that. If you can't see it, then let me know. Okay. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, smart remarks out there that I can share or open up with you guys? Yes, you're right. Accountability is king. This is so true. My buddy Warren has said that, and I think he's right about that. But it's funny that a lot of people don't want to be accountable. They don't see the power in meeting people's expectations. It really, really matters. It really matters. And it's a way of being a good servant, being a good leader, being a good, humble person who is committed to a brand or an idea or a thought, to be able to go all the way through and to make sure that it's received the way it's supposed to be received. The willingness to be accountable can only happen when you're willing to make sure that you've shown up correctly, that's the willingness to be. That's the benefit of it. It helps people understand that you're serious about who you are and what you do and how you lead your life. If not, then you kind of show up flaky. You can't be trusted if you're not willing to be accountable. If you don't want to be accountable, people are less likely to trust you, and deservedly so, because you're showing that you're willing to cut corners or do things that aren't necessarily above board, or not being transparent, right? Those are major words in our world today. A lot of problems we have with people that we have problems with are because they're not transparent and not accountable. They shirk responsibility instead of embracing it and wholeheartedly endorsing that. So, yeah, I agree with you, Warren. You're right. Accountability is king. Amen, brother. Okay, guys, it is 4:29. This is actually the longest session we've had since COVID-19 started. And I appreciate you for your questions. I appreciate you for your thoughts. I really, really love having you here and having your attention. It means more to me than I even know how to adequately express. If you have found anything in this that works for you, I'm thankful. I'm grateful. If you want to share that with me, please do so. Send me a text message, post it in the chat. The chat for these things are available along the way. It's fuel for me. It helps me know that I'm on the right pace. I'm on the right concept. I'm on the right idea. If you need to change something, if it's something that you want more different voice inflections or a background that will make it better for you, I don't care. Whatever you have to share with me, whatever feedback you have to give me, I appreciate it. I want it. I need it. And it means a lot to me. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope that you come back next week, and I hope you bring a friend. Don't keep me a secret. Feel free to share. We're going to get into all things the roundtable for the rest of the year. How do you create more positive communication strategies with yourself, your clients, your referral sources? How do you encourage the right kinds of behavior for the people that you are around and around you, so that you're not disappointed and they're not disappointed in you? How do you go ahead and collaborate to create more and become stronger than you are right now? This is leverage on steroids, right? So we're going to talk about all this stuff before the end of the year. I'd like for you to come back. I'm going to be posting it in the chat, be posting it on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course within my favorite, LinkedIn. Love seeing you guys. Appreciate every single one of you. And I hope to do it. Hope we can do this again. Bye now.